Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. I'm Virginia Killmore and today is Wednesday. We're doing a beautiful card designed by an artisan, a Stampin' Up! Artisan award winner named Lauren Alrid. And I love the card. We're not copying it exactly, but pretty close to it. So this is a case card again. Let's get started. Isn't that a pretty card? I love the little birdie. This card is made using the new Curvy Celebrations stamp set and the cutters. This is something I talked about on Monday. I used the little bird and Made with Love for You, and then this little branch set. And if you are interested in it, you'll be able to purchase it starting November 3rd. I'm featuring it this week because there's so many pretty things. I love this card because there's nothing much curvy about it, but this is the stamp set. Those are the cutters. You can also get the Curvy Christmas stamp set and the designer series paper. If you buy all of those together, you get a discount of 10% and it's $70. I think it's a great deal, and I went ahead and purchased it. So to make this card, you're going to start with a base of Petal Pink, and everything you need is right here. I wrote it down for you. I went ahead and already embossed with Dainty Diamonds the Whisper White cardstock that goes in the back. And I'm going to go ahead and get that all glued down and set aside so we can get going on this card, because there's a lot to do today with this card. Go ahead and use my bone folder to sort of flatten that out, and also do the same here with this piece. I won't use the bone folder on this because I don't want to damage the pattern, but I do want to center it and set it aside to dry while we work on the rest of the card. I'm going to set it over here. So what we need to do for this card is we need these two pieces plus some greenery. This greenery is using the sprig punch, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut that right out. I have some scrap right here, and I just need two pieces, so I'll go ahead and cut those out. And then I'm going to get out some of my framelits from this set, which I'm going to need. I'm going to need this one, the bird, and that. And I am not going to stamp them first. I'm going to stamp them second. So I'm going to get out my big cutter, our new Stampin' Emboss cutter, and do some of our cutting for us. I can do quite a bit of it all at once. And I am going to cut out my bird and my greenery all in one shot here. I'm going to cut the greenery right over here, and I've got scrap white, so I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these and a bird. I will need a second one of that, so I'll run that through really quick so that you can see the process. I love our new cutter because you only have to go through once. You don't have to go back and forth a million times. Maybe it was just because my cutters were old, but I used to have to go through so many times to get that cut. Now we're going to be using the cutout area of this to help us set our stamp, because you're probably wondering, how do you go ahead and do this without having the whole process stamped? But you'll see in a second. We do need this again. I need to cut this a second time. So now we'll have everything we need And we can use our Stamparatus to help stamp and get our things just right. Now, I'm pretty sure I've showed you this trick before, but if you haven't seen it, it's just a great way to get things to work really well. We're going to keep this piece that we just cut everything out of. And meanwhile, I'm going to get these out of our way because everything's in our way. So I'm pulling out my Stamparatus to show you this process because you have not seen this, hopefully. If you have, hang in there because it's always great to see it again. I'm going to get out my little bird, and I have to make sure I get the right bird. And then my floral pattern. This is the hardest part. I think it's this one because its little legs are spread apart. So I'm going to lay them like this. And actually, I'm going to use this to help me because it does help setting it. It won't be perfect, but it'll be close. Because I still can move it after we're done. But it's going to help me sort of set where I want them. I'm going to lift that up. And now I'm going to actually stamp them right on the paper so that I know where to put my stencil. I'm not too worried about how carefully I stamp because I'm going to be moving that anyways. But now I have my design set as to where it has to be. Let's see how good I did. Did I do a good job or do I need to move it? I did really well. I'm very proud of myself. So I'm set to start stamping. I'm going to take my piece. And I just have to make sure I get it in there right. There it goes. See how I just put it right back in there? I only need one bird. And now I can stamp it as many times as I need to get a good stamp. Probably won't need to stamp it more than once because it's pretty well primed, but this is the beauty of the Stamparatus, is that you can stamp over and over until you're happy. Now, I didn't do a good job on that centerpiece, so let's see if I really could put my money where my mouth is here. Looks like that centerpiece needs to be restamped. We're going to find out. Probably should have cut an extra one. Da, 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 da. Oh my goodness, look at how perfect that is. No double vision. It is perfect. I think part of my problem is I have one extra layer in here that I don't need, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's stamped pretty good. Just make sure that I push down really well. Stamparatus wins again. And that one stamped perfectly the first time. So we are all set. I can put everything away and we can start coloring our pieces now. So these two pieces and the bird are going to get colored in by our Stampin' Blends. I don't know if these are the colors she used, but these are the colors I'm using. I really like them and I think they work well. And I started with just the light shaded spruce because I didn't think I needed too dark of a color. And I pretty much just colored in all my leaves the shaded spruce color. The blends are great because they're alcohol based, so you can very easily color in and blend colors nicely. You'll see when I get into some of the blending that I'm going to do with the flower. Now I went out of the line a little bit. That just gives it a little watercolor look. Watercolor's never perfect. Looks like I have to go back and do a couple more leaves on the other one. coloring is so relaxing. I don't know what it is. I remember the first time I started coloring when I first started stamping, and I thought, oh, this reminds me of when I was a little kid. It was always fun to color. See one more here. Okay, that should be all our green. I am not using the dark green, though I could come in and just put a little line here and there, but I really don't think it's going to be noticeable enough to be bothered with it. So with the pink, I am going to the Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to focus on the base of the leaves of the petals and put color right in there. And then I'm going to use my lighter Flirty Flamingo to blend upwards. And I'm going pretty fast here. Okay, and I do need the little belly of this bird. I'm going to focus on his belly, but leave the rest to be colored in with a lighter Flirty Flamingo. And with that, I want to blend, so I work over the darker color. Because I'm using Memento ink, I don't have to worry about my blends being damaged. A lot of people still use StazOn, and that can damage your pen. I don't know if you knew that. Okay, we're getting there. I'm not enjoying this as much as usual because I'm trying to hurry, because I want you to see that. I guess I can tell you a little bit about the Curvy celebration set. I think I told you already that it is only available from November through January. And I'm thinking that's a little too dark, so I'm going to switch over to the lighter one. I should have started with that, but I didn't, so we're just going to make it work. There, I'm blending it a little bit so it's not so dark. That's the nice part about this ink, is you can blend if you make a mistake. Now I need a tiny little bow, and I'm going to freehand it because I don't want to pull out my bow easy right now. Remember, with a bow, you can always make adjustments. And then once I'm done with that, we can start putting our card together. Now I guess I still need the sentiment. We'll do that next. Okay, I've got my bow. My sentiment comes from the stamp set. I just hopeful that I can stamp it nice and straight today. Doesn't feel straight. No, actually, it's not bad. I think I'm just going to leave it. I can make little adjustments with it when I put it on here. And that's going to get glued down right here. And now I can put my card together. I just don't want to rub my finger across here while it's still a little damp. But I have all my components sitting out here, and I'm ready to put my card together. So let's bring this back. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, but before I do that, I want to set my pieces that are up here. So you see, this is why this is important, because I can see where things have to be. I like to do it this way because I sort of see where I'm at, and then I can go ahead and glue them. And I'm just going to lift this off to do the gluing. Just a touch of glue. I could put glue up higher on all those petals, but there's really no need for it, and it gives it a feeling of sort of floating, or you know, like real foliage, because real foliage would not lay flat. get those down. I could have also used glue dots if I wanted to, but I am going to put this down first, and then we're going to lift the floral sprig, and then we're just about done. Oops, I should center it though, shouldn't I? Okay, so I'm going to take these two floral sprigs and use some tiny dimensionals all the way across, and I'm going to put a lot of them on there, but I want that to stay up. I'll also put one on our little bird, one or two on our little bird. This one's a little too close to that edge. And then let's get our bird all set. I'm going to put two. I'm going to use my little pokey tool here to lift all of these off. I love how I can lift a bunch of them off. Okay, so now we're ready to lay them down. And one is going to go one direction like this. And then this one is going to go the opposite direction. Like that. I think I'm going to use a glue dot for the bow. Oh my gosh, I have such a hard time getting words out. Do you do that sometimes? I hate that. I'm going to put it right on the corner here and lay that bow right there. And then I'm going to try to get our bird to sort of bridge both spots. And there it is. I'm going to bring this down a little bit because it's sort of covering up the word U. And there's our card. It took a little time today, but boy was it worth it. It's such a pretty card. I can't thank Lauren enough for designing such a pretty card. It's just so nice. I love the little bird. That's my favorite. I hope that to see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'll have new cards for you, and thank you for watching today.